I never thought the people I loved the most could betray me so completely. I worked tirelessly to pull my family out of the mess they had made, hoping they'd appreciate the sacrifice. But instead, they took everything I had, my money, my time, my love, and left me with nothing but pain. My name is Sophie, and I've been carrying the weight of my family for as long as I can remember. It wasn't always like this. When I was a kid, I thought I could fix everything. My parents fought constantly, and I was the one who stepped in to try to stop the chaos. When they couldn't see eye to eye on something, I'd be the middleman trying to make peace. I didn't mind. I thought it was just part of being the responsible one. I'd been told that my whole life. Sophie, you're the strong one. You can handle it. I remember those words so clearly. But when I grew up, I realized just how much I had to handle. I'm telling you. Sophie, my dad would say, his hand reaching for yet another stack of bills. If we don't get this loan, we're done. Do you think you can help us out? Sighed, rubbing my tired eyes. Another day, another request. I just worked a 14-hour shift at the diner, and all I wanted was a moment to myself. But no, my dad was sitting in front of me again, holding out his hand like I owed him something. Dad, I gave you money last month, I muttered, my voice heavy. You promised you'd pay it back. He waved me off, his eyes not meeting mine. Things aren't looking good, you know that. This is the last time, I swear. I wanted to scream, to throw the bills back at him and tell him I wasn't his bank account. But I didn't. I just nodded, pretending to understand. I was too tired to argue. Meanwhile, my mom was in the kitchen, pacing back and forth. Sophie, sweetie, can you help me pay the rent this month? I don't know what happened to the money I had set aside. Of course, she didn't know. She'd spent it all on online shopping again, buying things we didn't need. But I couldn't say that. I couldn't blame her. She was always trying to fill some hole inside her with things, new clothes, shoes, anything to feel better. But it never worked. I walked over to the counter, taking a deep breath, my mind already racing. How much do you need, Mom? She hesitated for a moment. $800, Sophie. We're behind. I don't know what else to do. $800. It was more than I made in 2 weeks. But she didn't care. No one cared. They just looked at me, expecting me to fix everything. I couldn't breathe. My chest tightened as the weight of it all settled in. It wasn't just about the money anymore. It was about everything. Every time I helped, every time I gave, I felt myself losing more and more of who I was. I wasn't Sophie anymore. I was the fixer, the one they relied on, and I hated it. I'll figure it out, I said, my voice flat. My dad looked at me, his expression softening. You're a lifesaver, Sophie. We're lucky to have you. Lucky, I thought. Lucky to have me as their emotional crutch? To make me feel like I was nothing more than a tool to fix their problems. But I didn't say it. Not then. I just nodded and turned to leave. As I walked into my room, I collapsed onto the bed, staring at the ceiling. I had worked so hard, tried so hard, but it felt like it was never enough. I wasn't even living my own life anymore. I was just existing to make sure theirs didn't fall apart. Something inside me snapped then. I couldn't do it anymore. But I wasn't ready to admit it yet. I had given everything. And for what? To be ignored, to be used, to be nothing more than the one they turned to when everything else failed. But I kept going. I didn't have the courage to say no. Not yet. I could feel everything slipping away. No matter how much I worked, no matter how hard I tried to keep things together, my family was falling apart faster than I could fix it. My mom had gotten worse. The shopping addiction was out of control. Every time I came home, there were new packages on the doorstep, things we didn't need, things we couldn't afford. I could already feel the walls closing in. Mom, you can't keep doing this, I said, as I watched her swipe her credit card again without a second thought. What choice do I have, Sophie? She didn't even look up from the computer screen. I'm just trying to feel better. I bit my lip to keep from saying anything more. It wasn't worth it. Nothing was ever worth it. She'd never listen. And then there was Dad. He spent more time working than actually doing anything to save his business. Every day it seemed like the bills were piling up higher, the calls from creditors getting louder. But no one saw it. No one cared. I didn't want to admit it, but I was the only one trying to hold us together. I was the only one putting in the effort, but they never noticed. One night, I came home after another exhausting shift, only to find Liam sitting on the couch, scrolling through his phone. His car keys were in his hand, a new keychain dangling from them. I froze for a second before I noticed the envelope sitting on the table in front of him. The envelope that had been sitting in my room only hours ago. Liam. My voice cracked, and I immediately regretted the way it sounded. But he didn't notice. He never noticed anything. He looked up lazily. Yeah. Did you take money from my savings? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. I had worked for months to save that money. It wasn't a lot, but it was mine. Liam just shrugged. Yeah, I needed it for the car. Told you, I'm going to get one of those new models. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. My breath caught in my throat. I took a step toward him, trying to hold back the tears. That money was for my college debt, Liam. It wasn't for you to spend on whatever you want. His face twisted into a smirk. You'll be fine. You always are. Do you even care that you stole from me? I felt the anger rising in me, thick and heavy. But it wasn't just anger. It was the betrayal. It was the realization that my own brother didn't respect me. I don't know. I'm just trying to live, Sophie. You're always working. It's always saving. He stood up and dropped the keys on the table. I don't have time for your lectures. You're always acting like you're the only one who has it hard. I stood there in shock, my heart pounding in my chest. You don't get it, do you? My voice cracked, and I felt a bitter laugh rising in my throat. You really don't. Liam didn't care. He never had. I turned away, but before I could leave the room, I heard my mom's voice calling from the kitchen. Sophie, what's going on? Nothing, I said quickly. I didn't want her to know, but I was too tired to fight. I wanted to scream, but I didn't. I'm sure it's fine, she said, her voice soft, almost apologetic, but she didn't really mean it. She never did. Liam's young, Sophie. He doesn't understand yet. I could feel the anger bubbling inside me. I knew what was happening. They were choosing him over me. They always did. He could do whatever he wanted, and they'd make excuses for him. But when I made mistakes, when I was tired, when I asked for help, I was met with nothing but silence. I looked at my mom, standing there pretending like nothing was wrong, pretending like I wasn't falling apart. I could feel the walls closing in, just like they always did when I needed help. I wasn't even a person to them anymore. I was just the one who was always supposed to fix things. I understand just fine, I whispered, but they didn't hear me. They never did. I had just finished my shift at the diner, my legs sore, my head pounding. I was looking forward to a quiet night, maybe a warm bath, just something to unwind. But when I walked through the door, everything changed. My parents were screaming at each other again. The sounds were so familiar, but this time they were louder, more desperate. I stood frozen for a second, trying to catch my breath. I didn't know what I expected, but this wasn't it. Damn it, Maria. You can't keep doing this. The business is gone. My dad's voice was rough, filled with anger and panic. We're drowning, and you're out there spending money like it's nothing. You think I don't know that, Tom? My mom yelled back. You think I haven't been holding everything together by myself? Her voice cracked. The one paying off your debts, the one keeping us afloat. I barely stepped into the living room before I saw the stacks of bills on the coffee table, each one growing higher and higher. The same bills that I had tried so hard to pay down with. My own money. The same money they had taken from me. They didn't even try to hide it anymore. I dropped my bag on the floor, the weight of the world pressing down on me. What's going on? I asked, my voice shaking. I had to know. I had to hear it from them, even if I didn't want to. You. Need to stay out of this, Sophie? My dad snapped, his eyes flashing. This is between me and your mother. You've done enough. I felt my stomach drop, the words stinging like a slap. I've done enough, I repeated, stepping into the room. I've been working my ass off to help both of you. And this is what I get. Mom turned to me, her eyes filled with exhaustion. Sophie, please, just don't. I shook my head, a bitter laugh escaping me. Don't what? Don't ask why I'm the one fixing everything. You've been draining me dry, both of you. My savings, my time, my energy, it's never enough. We're sorry, Sophie, my mom whispered, her voice softer, like she was trying to calm me. We didn't mean for it to get this bad. We were trying, but things just got out of hand. Out of hand. They didn't try. I was the one trying. And all it ever got me was exhaustion and broken promises. You've done enough. Go. Leave us to fix our own problems. His words hit me like a punch in the chest. My dad didn't even look at me. He didn't care. I'd spent years giving them everything I had, and now he was telling me to leave? To walk away after everything I'd done. I've been fixing your problems, Dad, I shouted, stepping back. I've been the one holding this family together, and now you want me gone. You want me to just leave? They didn't say anything. They didn't need to. I could see it in their faces. I wasn't the daughter they wanted. I wasn't the savior they needed. I'm done, I whispered, more to myself than anyone else. I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't keep sacrificing myself for people who didn't even appreciate me. I'm done. The words hung in the air, heavy and final. It felt like a weight had been lifted, but the emptiness that followed was even worse. I turned and walked out of the room, my legs weak, my mind spinning. I needed to be alone. I needed to breathe. As I sat in my room, the silence was deafening. The anger, the hurt, the confusion, it all rushed through me. But above everything else, I felt the truth. I wasn't invisible anymore. I had a right to live my life. I wasn't going to keep letting them use me. And I wasn't going to keep sacrificing myself for people who never even saw me. I had never felt more alone, but I had never felt more free either. Leaving wasn't easy. I don't think anything could have prepared me for the weight of it. But deep down, I knew I had no choice. My heart was heavy, torn between anger and relief, as I packed my things in silence. The sound of my clothes sliding into the suitcase seemed so final, like I was closing a door I could never reopen. The hardest part was leaving behind everything I'd worked for. It felt like walking away from my family, from all the sacrifices I'd made, from the love I had tried so hard to give. I was scared, but also free. Free from their expectations, free from the endless demands that had suffocated me for so long. I was taking control, even if it meant leaving them behind. When I finally closed the door behind me, stood there for a moment, my heart racing. It wasn't just the house I was walking away from, it was everything. All the years I had spent trying to fix them, trying to make everything okay. But I was done. And for the first time in my life, I felt like I could breathe. The next few months were a blur. I worked 2 jobs, barely sleeping, barely eating, but it didn't matter. Rebuilding. I was building a life for myself, even if it was small and shaky at first. Slowly, I put money aside, started paying off my debts, and began to heal. I even started thinking about going back to school, doing something just for me. I had forgotten what it felt like to dream, but then one night, my phone rang. Hello? Sophie? It was Liam. His voice was breaking and I could hear him crying. Please, you have to help, Mom and Dad. ... They're losing the house. I don't know what to do. I stood frozen, my heart pounding. What happened? I asked, though I already knew the answer. They screwed everything up. I didn't think they'd let it get this bad, but they did. They're going to lose everything. His words hit me like a punch to the stomach. I felt sympathy, but I also felt something else, a burning realization. This was their mess, not mine. I had spent my whole life trying to fix things for them, but they'd never appreciated it. Never once did they ask if I was okay. Only cared about what I could do for them. Liam, I said, my voice steady but firm. I can't help them anymore. I can't help you anymore. There was a long pause. I could hear him sniffling on the other end. Please, Sophie, ... I'm sorry. I need you. No, I said. I've been carrying you all my life. But this time, you're on your own. I hung up without saying another word. For the first time, I felt in control. I was no longer the one who had to fix everything. It was their responsibility now. It was hard, knowing they were falling apart. But it wasn't my problem anymore. I watched as my parents' world crumbled from a distance. Their business shut down, and I saw my mom's addiction spiral even further. Dad lost everything he'd worked for. They were finally paying the price for the choices they made. It was painful to watch. But I couldn't let myself be dragged back into their chaos. I had learned the hard way that their mess was not mine to fix. They had taken everything from me, and now they were losing it all. In a way, it felt like justice. I had learned to rise above my past and embrace my future. And that was the sweetest revenge.